Hello friends, this is JB and today we're going to look at changing out a swamp cooler. The old one had some really bad wiring. They used tape, they used old wires and so forth. If you're ever going to tackle something like this, make sure to do new wiring and of course turn it off. Disconnect all electricity and also take out any water or attach water lines to the swamp cooler. You don't want water, electricity messing up with that. You will also have to detach the square ducting. It's probably going to be mounted with screws and whatnot. You'll need to take that out. So you'll need an array of tools. Let me just pass here and show you the new one. At least that's the housing. So I'm speeding up the video showing you how we are taking out the old swamp cooler. By the way, a swamp cooler is used to, in this case, we're using it for a restaurant, and it's to accommodate a replacement of air. So, for instance, using a big oven, it's heating up the kitchen, causing temperature change, causing a lack of oxygen. Well, the swamp cooler kind of cools things down, replaces the air that would have already otherwise been taken by the ovens and stove and so forth. So this is the new swamp cooler. It has that frame already built, but I'll show you later in the video. I wasn't really amused by this frame. It needed to be reinforced. I don't feel it was as strong as it should be. Sean is showing us how bad the last cable was that was wiring the old swamp cooler. If you see that kind of cable, make sure to change it out. Don't reuse old cables and old wiring. Here I'm taking out the old ducting. Here Sean is putting in holes for the cable, and he's showing you how he's making joints. So this will go into the frame of the swamp cooler. And a lot of times when you get these situations, you have to kind of make up stuff. You might get a swamp cooler, but it's not going to show you. You're not going to get a manual of how to wire or how to get things connected. In this case, Sean is using kind of a contraption that he made up. And you might be wondering why he's using metal. It's just because that's what was available at the time. That joint is going to connect directly to the motor. That float allows a certain amount of water. And if you ever wanted to know how to join your hose, that's how you do it with this. That stopper and that join. You bring it together and then it can fit in there with the nut. So the water will go directly there, fill, and the float will rise and shut it off. And he's just tightening it there with a wrench. Of course, you want to tighten everything, make sure everything's good, sealed. As you notice, this is in the outdoors, so you don't want, again, water or electricity mixing together, even though essentially in a swamp cooler it does, not directly, but they have to work together. So this is the actual motor here. I'm just showing you the flywheels, the rotors. This is where the belt is going to go. And you have to kind of set it to whatever you want, adjust it. And at some point you may have to oil it, but instead of just pouring it down the hole, one of the things that you can do is attach a hose to it, a small hose, and then use it to pour the oil. Makes it easier that way. Sometimes you have to make adjustments to those wheels. That decides how fit and snug it is. And when this spins, you want it to be snug. Now you'll see where I added extra metal bars, extra angle iron, because I found that it shook too much. And they didn't use the right kind of metal for this frame. It was a bit too thin and cheapy. You can see where I also put angle iron at the bottom to secure the frame in place. Again, sometimes you have to just make up things. So with that in place, I turned it on, and as you can see, the swamp cooler works. Later we'll put on the water and it'll start feeding through there. Tell me what you think. Have you ever changed the swamp cooler? Let me know in the comments area.